I think that it's always something that can be compounded on and improved. So session 2, it's all about posting. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. And the first thing that we're going to do, you guys, is I'm going to teach you how to talk about your story. Here's the thing. So you entered into this business, and I want you to drop a comment, drop a 1 in the chat if you in the beginning of your business thought, well, I don't really have a story. My upline keeps telling me to say my story, but I don't have one yet. I haven't made $500, or I haven't paid off debt. I haven't done all A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So you assume that you don't have a story. Okay. That was me. Like I'm 1, that was me. And so what I want you guys to understand is, first and foremost, yes, you do. I don't care if you're literally 3 minutes into this business, you have a story, because guess what? You were still who you were prior to hitting submit. So your story, what we talk about in the beginning, is the story that led you to say yes. And then after you've been in the business, your story may change from before you said yes to now that you've said yes to what you're looking for in the future. And as you advance in the business, so will your story. So when we say in the beginning, what's your story? You do have one, all right? And I'm going to help you write it. And there's a few questions that I always like to answer. For those of you that aren't new, you may have seen this, and maybe you're still struggling with it. But I'm going to drop a few questions into the chat here. And I want you guys to either copy this down, or I want you guys to, honestly, we can start writing it out once I go through all of the material. Sometimes I really want it to be where we get through the content and then have time to be hands-on. Sometimes, depending on your questions, because they're great, or how much more I go, sometimes it always doesn't give us a whole bunch of time, but a little time is better than anything. So, all right, so let's go into this. Here we go. Guys, I'm going to make sure this is the right post. So before I send it, because it's long, let me see here. How to create a story. Yes, this is it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to send this. Okay. Now it's, I apologize. It jumbles up whenever I send this. However, copy this, save it to your notes. Don't worry if it disappears. I'm going to go over this. Okay. Every single one of you on here, whether you're new or not, I think.
Open the door.
Right. Open it. So, hello, baby. Okay. So first thing is first. So we're going to answer 3 specific questions. Keep it simple. One of the things that I think we do to ourselves is we paralyze ourselves thinking this has to be some long drawn out story. Well, I know Tashima, and she posts this amazing story and it has all these different whatevers. Or Tavia, oh my gosh, like I just can't post like that. Newsflash, you just joined this business. I'm 5 years in. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to my chapter 65. Okay. It's not comparable. Not that I'm better than you. I am more seasoned than you. And I have failed a whole lot to fine tune what it is I want to say and how I want to say it. Okay. So start where we started. And that's learning these 3 questions and crafting it and literally just molding it. Think of the movie Ghost, literally crafting it to where you are fine tuning this and you are getting it to the shape and to exactly how you want it to be presented to your audience. Okay. So the first question, you guys, is what was life like before the business? Now, I'm going to honestly, anyone can go, but is anyone on here struggling telling your story? I don't care if you're new or not, doesn't really matter, because I think we all struggle with this from time to time. Who on here struggles with their story? Well, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. I know that I can answer these 3 questions, but I don't know how to then put it together, right? Who struggles with that? Drop a comment. I need to know. Let's see. Let me look. Let's look. Let me wait. I'll wait because I know some of you struggle with your stories. Me still, Sandra. Okay. All right. Okay. So who wants to go? Because we're going to use you as an example. Yay. All right. Now, first question. What was life like before the business? Literally, what was it like before the business? Were you struggling? Were you not? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you broken? Were you just overwhelmed with life? Were you angry? What was it? And don't just say it was hard. Girl, life is hard all the way around. Okay. So get more specific. What we're doing in this moment is we're trying to pull something deeper out of you, because you got to remember this. You're building your business via social media, and the only way to connect to your audience is through an emotional connection. So start getting a little more vulnerable with yourself. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Absolutely. Okay. but it is necessary. Because here's the thing, how do you expect people to want to join you if they can't relate to you? Okay, they're not going to, right? If I have no idea what you do but drink coffee and take cute selfies all day, why would I want to join your team? I don't know. Like, what does your life look like? You know, are you crazy hot mess like me? Or are you this super put together person that wears scarves? Okay, because I talked about that last time, right? Anyone who wears a scarf, you're doing big things in your life. Because if you have the ability to go find a scarf, man, no, well, you know, I'm talking about the ones you tie around your neck and they get it all in the cute little. If you have that much time to take a scarf,
like, stop talking about my scarf.
God bless you. I have so many scarves, but I to this day don't know how to tie them. And it's the last thing I want. I literally enjoy my leggings, and I have leggings. Everyone knows this about me, in almost every single color. Okay, I live in my leggings. Jeans, I don't know what those are. So okay. So let's sidetrack. So what was life like before the business? Get specific. Okay, who is willing to go? Who is willing for me to help you write your story tonight? All right. Next. So think about that. Next, what have you found? Oh no. What made you say yes? What made you say yes to this business? Was it because, oh my gosh, she just wouldn't let up? Like, she was crazy, dude. She kept messaging me, like, right? That could have been me. But why did you say yes? Why did you say, you know what? Let's freaking do this. Like, oh, at this point, I can't go backwards. I am totally just bottomed out. I'm hitting a wall. What's the worst that could happen? But why did you say yes? Was it because you wanted to get your nails done? That's cool too, right? Just because your struggle may not look like my struggle doesn't mean it wasn't a struggle. If you join this business to get your hair and nails done, awesome, right? It doesn't mean that it's any less powerful of a story than me in my situation. So don't compare that, okay? Get out of that, right? So what made you say yes? And the last question is, what have you accomplished? What have you done thus far? And even if you've enrolled for 3 minutes, 3 months, 3 years, I don't care, right? What have you accomplished? And accomplishment is not just financial based. Get that out of your head, because it's not. Because we know when we're posting, I'm gonna get into the F-bombs, we're talking about multiple different areas, right? Fun, family, fashion, freedom, food, fitness, franchise, faith, right? There's so many. So don't think it has to be a financial reason, right? Or a financial accomplishment to make you feel valid that you've done something with this business. Remember this, you have nothing to prove to anyone. Whether or not they ask you if you've made money. Yeah, I've made money. Do you have to tell them what it is? Absolutely not. And those asking, it's not necessarily them asking as if, well, they probably are nosy, right? Because I get that asked a lot. But you don't owe anyone an explanation on what you are not doing in this business, right? So for them to get validation that it works, knowing what you get paid is irrelevant, right? Because they're not you. Their work ethic is not yours. So when anyone asks that, you can deuces, like whatever, I make money and you don't have to worry about how much it is. Do you want to do this, right? But those are the 3 questions, okay? And that is what you ask yourself every single time. Think of your life up to this point as a movie. And every single event that has transformed you in some way, positive or negative, is an event that we're going to talk about in different posts, in different ways, right? For example, if you're at the grocery store, have you ever had a deja vu moment where back 3 years ago, you're like, oh my gosh, I remember being in this specific situation. And 3 years ago, the outcome would have been completely different, right? Or maybe the conversation you had with your spouse, like, well, we need more money. Well, the solution before would have been to always get a second job. And now, well, no, I have my business, right? There's little things that you now can think of that relate back to something that's happened previously, right? So hopefully that makes sense. So they're small events. Don't feel like you have to take all 34 years of your life into one post. No, you don't have to do that, right? You don't have to do that. So does that make sense, you guys? And I don't, so who wants to go? Who's offering? Oh, Shannon, you're offering? You want me to tell your story? Sandra, who? Anyone. I'll take anyone. Give me anything.
I'll do it, Tavia, so you have an example.
Let's do it, G. All right. So I need to know, okay, and we're going to talk this out. And one of the things that I did in that post, you guys, if you see, look at the second part of it. I know it's jumbled together, but see if you follow me. So you start talking about, listen, here's a tip. the first sentence or couple of sentences, you know how you're scrolling through your newsfeed and you see the first
Serena.
part of someone's post, right? You see that first part. And you know how sometimes it catches your eye and you're like, ooh, what is this? What is this about? So you click see more and then you see the rest of the text. Here's a little tip for you. If you do not catch your audience's attention in those first few lines, then you've lost them. They may like the picture because it's a pretty face, right? But they won't necessarily take mind of what you're saying. Okay. So a lot of times what I like to do is quote a scripture. I like to say, I would like to take one sentence from down below and move it to the top. Right. And it sounds weird, but it works because it catches their attention. If I can catch your attention and if I can get you focused for 2.2 seconds for you to read the rest of what I have to say, maybe, just maybe you can hear my heart, you can hear the pain, and maybe you can relate to me. And if you can relate to me, then you're going to message me. And if you message me, then it's all done, right? Because I know the confidence that I have. And if we can connect on that level, you may not enroll today, but at some point you will enroll, right? Does that make sense? So what I say is the struggle is real. Living paycheck to paycheck, I thought was normal. I figured to get more money, you just had to work more. I never realized that less could be more. Of course, I was skeptical of doing anything like this before, but I realized that if I wanted things to change, I would also have to change. So I'm basically setting up the scene. I'm saying my struggles, what my life looked like before, right? And then I'm saying, I was skeptical about this. It's okay to say that because guess what? 9 times out of 10 people are. And 9 times out of 10, you were, right? You didn't think, you may have thought it worked, but you may have thought that you couldn't work this. Okay, there's a difference, right? You didn't have faith in you, but you had faith in what it was. And so then so I'm so happy I said yes. I've chosen me for once, and that feels so good. I know that in getting to help others, it will in turn help and bless me in more ways than I can count. I felt inferior, like I wouldn't be able to do this or that I wasn't pretty enough. But what I found was I do matter. I am worthy, and I unlocked a confidence I never knew I had. Cheers to new beginnings. If you're ready to start your new beginning, I'm ready for you. I literally made this up before I started this Ignite series last month. But it is thoughtful. It's genuine. I mean, some of the stuff is relatable to me. And I don't know if it's relatable to you when I read that, because here's the thing. Not once did you hear me talk about money. But when you read that, could you emotionally connect to me and say, dang, okay, like, she was obviously struggling, but I didn't say what I found was a $10,000 paycheck. What I said I found was my confidence, right? I said I found a group of men and women that were supportive. What I found was something more than the financial aspect. Because here's the thing, guys. People, of course, want money, right? But you don't want money itself. You want what money gives you. Freedom of choice. The ability to do more. The ability to go into a store and not have to worry about what your bank account says, right? So money, yes, is what we strive for, but we're really striving for what that gives us. Does that make sense? All right. So with that, let me really fast because I wanna talk this through. Okay, G. So unmute yourself, and I want you to tell me the first question. So answer the first question. What did life look like before the business?
So I was depressed. Well, let me say it this way. I was bankrupt emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically.
Okay. All right.
I live, like as soon as I get paid at the beginning of the month, it paid rent and I had nothing left. I didn't know how I was going to buy shoes or groceries.
Okay. All right. I love this. Okay. So here's in my head what's happening when I hear this story. What I think is I want to pick a line that would pop, and it's not that I'm trying to broadcast her story to be what's the word, like I'm trying to air it to just snag people, but I think it's very important that we understand what social influencing really is, right? It's attraction marketing. Okay, so here's what I would say. I love the bankruptcy part and how you said all those 3 things, but one thing that stood out, let me think, wait, before I lose it. You said, there was more month than money is what I got from what you said, right? There was more month than money, right? And so something that I would start the post with is I would literally say that, because how often and how relatable is that, right? People don't relate to $10,000 paychecks. They relate to struggle. And 9 times out of 10, if you talk about your struggle, if you start with your struggle, they will relate to you. I'm not saying if you didn't have a struggle before, you have to go find one. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is more than likely, We have all struggled with something. Okay. So I would say, there was always more month than money. And I would literally just leave it as a sentence. Sometimes I would italicize it. I would put it in quotes. I would make it eye capturing. Okay. And then I would go on to say, like, how many years have you been in the business, or how long have you been in the business?
February.
So just not
I've
even,
been using the
not
product
even,
since November, and then I've been working the business since February.
so like not even a year. You haven't even been in a year.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay. All right. I thought you were in longer, girl. Wow, you're awesome. Okay. So I would say 10 months ago, or right before you started, you could say a year ago. A year ago, I felt, and I would say exactly what you said. I felt bankrupt in A, B, and C, all those things that you just said, right? Um, um, I felt, you can say I felt broken, trying to figure out what my next move was. That sort of living was exhausting. Talk about how it felt in the moment. It was exhausting. Maybe you cried yourself to sleep. Maybe your relationships were just horrible, but don't go in crazy, crazy depth, but give me something more. So I would start it like that. I would flow into the bankrupt part, and then I would talk about the emotional aspect of it. And then I would even go a little bit deeper. So, okay, so now the business finds you, and what made you say yes?
That I got results from the products.
Okay. And so was money something that drove you?
No, I wanted to share it with the world
Okay. So all right. Okay, you wanted to share why? Why?
because I got results and I felt amazing and nothing else beat my MS. And so I had to tell everybody how amazing it was, and it just was attached with a paycheck.
Yeah. Okay, okay. All right. So I'm getting it. So are you yellow? Are you yellow?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So here, okay, and that's okay too, because I love this. So you talked about MS. I didn't realize that. So that is something else too. So I would even go on to say, because it's feel, felt, found. Write that down. Feel, felt, found, right? You want to be able to relate to them by feels, okay? Like if someone says something to you, oh, I feel what you're saying. I remember when I felt this way, but this is what I found. Okay. Anyway, that's a side note. So with you, I would say, I would go on to even say, like, a year ago, never did I ever think that I would be like a business owner. I just wanted to feel good. And you can say that, right? Living my life with MS like looked like this. And you could say all the broad different things. It was painful. It was exhausting. I actually have another woman on this. It's I can't even imagine, right? And that emotion that's tied to that, because it affects every single part of your life, right? Okay. So then you say, so I decided to say yes to this. I wanted people to feel the way that I felt. And I knew
Mm.
that with this, I was going to have a platform big enough to do that. Right. And then you can go and then tell me, what have you accomplished?
Okay, so I was able to buy shoes that I said no to my daughter for a year.
Mhm.
I was able to get groceries. I've been able to go to the laundromat every Sunday since I started this business. And sometimes I would have to wait 2 months before I could do one load of laundry. I've been able to pay cash for Christmas. I've been able to bless my daughter with gifts that I would have had to tell her I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And you have one daughter?
it's amazing. Yeah, I have a son too, but I just have a daughter at home.
Okay. So you can even say, because I said yes to me, or because I said yes, I have been able to do A, B, and C. Now, you started talking about in the beginning, like how there was more month than money. You started talking about the struggles you had with MS, right? So make sure that it's almost like full circle. So you want to go back and you want to relate to that again, right? So what I would say, Gina, is I would say something like, because I said yes, I now get to be a yes mom. Right? I now get to get my daughter a pair of shoes that I was never able to do before. I am now able to pay my utilities. Are you on auto pay?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's something you didn't do before, I know that sounds minute, but I'm telling you right now, mark my words, how many people cannot put their bills on auto pay? you better believe that is huge. All right. And that's not something we often talk about because we don't think in our heads that it's that big of a deal. It is a huge deal. Right. So I was able to put some of my bills on auto pay. I was able to pay cash for Christmas this year. And the best of all, and then you kind of like end with something really big. Like you can say that, that now you're blessing other families. You can say, what I really loved about your story, G, and I don't know if anyone else knows this, and you could even start it with this one. Like this year was the first year I was able to buy a Christmas tree in cash. And I know that's something that you were able to do. And that's just like so emotional for me. And I feel like if you started with that in your first line, like holy, like that would just be like magic because it's like, people and then go into it, then literally go in and backtrack, right? But that's another tip too for you that I feel like for your story, because I knew that part would be huge to start with as well. And then
Okay.
the other parts, G, so whenever you're posting about it in another couple of days, talk about another area of your past, right? So get more specific about your MS, right? Get more specific.
No, you have to come get it.
Get more specific about your struggle with paying your bills. Get more specific about, you know, the laundromat things that you were just talking about. Get more specific about all the different areas. Have you ever gone to a grocery store and you weren't sure if there was enough money on your card?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, next time you go to the store, you take a picture of the groceries in your trunk and you tell that story.
Okay.
12 months ago, I cringed going up to the register because I wasn't sure if I had enough money on my card. Started
Okay.
with that. Then you go in
Mhm.
to what was life like before? And you literally keep answering those 3 questions. Now, here's a little tip. Save these posts because this is a foundation to continue to compound on. It's not that every single day you're posting your story, you got to think of something brand new. In the beginning, you do, right? But when you get 5 or 6 of these posts, you will compound and it will naturally grow on its own, right? So does that kind of make sense to like, I guess kind of what I'm saying as far as making your story? And G, in the same sense, you can do it in a hands-free as well, right? If you've got a few
Yeah.
selfies, you know, that's something that I like to do. And I talk about that on a different session, but that's something that is super simple for you to create a story with.
Yeah. You taught me how.
Oh, good. Did you see that? Okay, yeah. All right, good.
Yeah.
Yay.
I used remove BG and I did it.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I
girl.
run it every other day.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So yeah, so I hope
Yeah.
that helps.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. It gave me more ideas because, like you said, you know, in the beginning, we got to write a lot more different stories because we have different stories.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
but
absolutely.
thank you.
You're
And
so
thank you, everybody,
welcome.
for your encouraging words.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Okay, guys, so I am going to send all of my F-bombs to you guys. And this is something I want you guys to write, or not write down, but just like keep, because I feel like this is something we all can. Here we go. Boom. All right, so those are just some of the ones that I use, and I like to mix it up every single day because here's the thing. Have you ever tried to tell your story every single day and you're like, oh my gosh, people are going to get sick of hearing it? No, they're not. As long as you are capturing a different event each time or rotating it, people aren't going to know any different. And if they do, who cares? Who cares, right? But here's some F-bombs that you can actually target and change up each day, right? On Sundays, I like to prepare my week and I like to say, okay, Monday's going to look like this. Tuesday's going to look like this. Do you have to do that? No. Okay. However, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And I don't like to get on the day. I know myself. And if I don't prepare something of a post, I will literally get paralyzed and I'll look at my phone for hours and I'll be like, well, I don't know what to say. Like I don't have a new picture because I didn't get dressed for the past 3 days. Like you know what I'm saying? So don't do that to yourself. Allow yourself one day a week where you can prep at least a few days, right? And when you start doing that, you're going to feel a lot less stressed to have to then put yourself out there. Okay. It just helps. So those are the categories that I myself personally rotate through. And you can post once a day, you can post twice a day. Does it have to be your story 2 times a day? Absolutely not, right? You want to be relatable. So if you share a funny meme, or if you share like a GIF, or if you share a status, or if you share a poll, or even like an interaction post, intermingled with a picture of you and your kids at the park, or, you know, whatever, right? That's okay. People want to see variety. Your life doesn't just isn't consumed just with It Works. At least it shouldn't be. Okay. So you want to make sure you are mixing it up, but just know that those areas are different areas that a lot of us use to start creating posts about. Okay. Any questions on that before I go on? No? Okay. All right. So I am going to hopefully, let me find it here, blow your guys' minds. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a simple story. Here are the steps, and I'm going to walk you through how to do them. And we're going to do this together. And let's see here. And you guys, just like Gina had said, you guys are going to be able to use this. All right. It looks really, really busy. I promise you, I think it's like what, 8 steps maybe. But it is going to change your life. Okay. Now, you have something called WordBoard, Bliss, whatever you use to easily access scripts. Please utilize that. If you do not, that is okay. As long as you have something like notes. And I would encourage you to write this out ahead of time and just keep reusing it. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I actually did it today in preparation for this. So give me just a second. Change host. Okay.
Hey, Tavia,
Right, yes.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
What did, do you know what Gina took for her MS?
Ooh, no, I don't. G, what did you take? Or like, are you talking about medication or are you talking about products?
No, out of the products.
So my go-to is celery because it helps with the inflammation and hydration and pain and stuff. And then my fatigue is really bad. I used to drink 2 pots of coffee a day and now I have 1 or 2 cups of Skinny Brew.
I love it.
And then I drink the reds and greens for the nutrition.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
And I can actually absorb those, as to where vitamins, I don't absorb all of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's so
thank
good.
So my
you.
vitamin levels have come up, so it's awesome.
Yay. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to go through your photo reel. If you haven't done this with me on the last session we had last month, I want you to do it now. And I want you to find anywhere from 3 to 4 photos. Okay. And they don't have to be perfect because the whole goal is not to be perfect. Okay. We don't need them photoshopped, edited. You don't have to do any makeup apps over them. You don't have to do that. I'm going to give you the premise of what to do, and then you're going to run with this. Okay. So let me make sure. Okay. All right. Ready? So I'm going to share my screen. Start. Let's hope this works. It should work. Okay. Can you guys see it? Hopefully. All right. So I started an Instagram. For those of you that have Instagram or don't have Instagram, just get Instagram. If nothing else, for the stories. I really like the content and the GIFs and the editing options that Instagram gives versus Facebook. So I always start my stories on Instagram and I share to Facebook. So I'm not double doing it. I'm literally just doing it one time and it shares to both platforms. Okay. So I'm going to open up my Instagram app and I am going to show you
Maybe if I
guys.
turn it.
Hold on.
Okay. Maybe day one.
Hold on, guys. I gotta get to it. Oh, wait, I passed it. Okay, boom. All right, I'm gonna hold my finger down. All right, so what did I do? I actually did something for TikTok. So I thought, well, let me just, since I'm doing this and I found old photos, that's what I did. So this is one of the pictures that when I first started the business back 5 years ago, you guys, and my son in this picture was about 5 months old. But I talk about it. So I'm literally very honest and upfront with these pictures and you'll see. So what I want you guys to do is you don't have to have as many pictures as I have for this. Please know that you need 3 to 4 good photos and you're going to like apply captions to the same photo 2 times, and then you'll move to the next photo and then you'll continue with your story. Okay. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did for this. And I'm going to send you my base verbiage that I used for my story so that you guys can see, well, how does she do this? Now I'm going to show you too, actually, before I do that, I use WordBoard. Okay. And I actually have all of my stories saved already. So I literally, when I have my pictures picked out, I can open up Instagram and I can literally apply slide number 1. And it literally talks about what life looked like before the business. I am answering the same 3 questions as I would on a post, but in a hands-free, okay? Hands-free or a story like sequence. And what hands-free or story sequence is it's a different viewpoint of your social media versus just in the newsfeed of your actual posting. So some people may access the post and they see your post. Some people just look at stories. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's why we do both. But this is literally slide 1. So I can send my slides to you guys, and actually I'll do that after. All right, so that's how I have it saved. So save it. Do yourself a favor. Don't rewrite it every single time you're doing this. Save it. If you're saying the same thing, just save the verbiage and you can easily apply it, okay? And I'll show you that in a second. So like, let's say I were to go to post a story. So I'm gonna go down here at the bottom, I'm gonna click story. And let's say I wanna use this picture because I just used it, whatever. So I'm just gonna use this and show you guys. So let's say I'm gonna start 5 years ago, right? So I'm gonna double click, like tap on the screen, and it's gonna bring up my text box. I'm gonna find in my notes, I'll go copy it, or in WordBoard if you have it. I am literally going to find my slide 1 message. And I'm gonna make it smaller. You can adjust, have fun with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and I like going like this, and I use a little dropper, and I like to do different colors that the picture has, right? So then I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, once I've done this, hear me out, ready? Do not post it. Don't click send to yet. You're gonna save this so that it saves to your photo reel so that you get all your slides together, and then you're gonna post it at once. So ready? See this arrow with the line under it? You're gonna click that at the top, saved. It is saved in my photo reels. It is not posted, right? So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the same picture. So I'm gonna like hold down my finger on this text, and I'm gonna drag it down to the trash can. And I'm literally gonna hit the text again, and I'm gonna do slide, oops, let me go back. I'm gonna do slide 2. Right? Does that make sense? And I'm gonna try to find a different color. Okay, because I'm weird about that. All right, boom, look. So here's what I'm saying. We had 3 small children, and I couldn't help but think this was just how my life was gonna be. I thought plan B was always a second job or working OT. I'm telling my story, right? This is my base story, okay? So does this make sense? And again, I'm not gonna send it. I'm going to save it. Save, right? Now I can switch pictures. Maybe I want to use a different picture, okay? So I'll X out of that, and I'll go to my photo reels, and I'll be like, you guys already see I did one earlier, but let's just say I want to do this one. Okay, boom, here's this picture, okay? All right, so here's this picture, and now I don't have to think because I already have this saved. So one piece of advice, write out your story first, and I'll send you mine, don't worry. But take the time to write out your slides first, save the text, and then all you have to do is find your pictures and easily apply the text to it. There's not much to think about then. When you save this, I'll show you how to add it to an album, and you can recirculate these stories every few days, okay? All right, so again, I'm gonna click the text. I'm gonna click slide, what am I on, 3? 3, boom, okay? And then I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna hit the dropper, and I'm gonna find a color that I like. Okay, that'll work, whatever, okay? See that? Okay, and now what? We're not gonna send it, we're gonna save it, okay? Save, right? Then I'm gonna do it again, because I at least want at least 2 slides of the same picture. Because then if not, you have to find like 10 pictures, and unless you're intentionally trying to do that, nobody's got time for that, okay? This is an easy way for you to tell your story though, and that's why I like this, okay? So again, I'm gonna go in, boom, I'm gonna do slide 4, okay? And as you can see, if those of you that are actually reading what I'm saying, you'll see that basically now I'm starting to talk about how I found the opportunity, right? One day a fellow nurse told me about the opportunity, super skeptical, yet out of all other options, I stepped out on the little faith that I had. I started my own business, okay? So I'm literally saying this. So again, I'm gonna save this. Now, okay, that's 4, okay? So now I'm gonna find another picture. Do you see guys how this is flowing? So it doesn't have to be super complicated at all, okay? So I'm gonna go through the story that I already created though. So that way it doesn't take up too much time. All right, so let me go through. I'm gonna go through here we go. All right, boom. So I'm gonna hold my finger down. So this picture, so I tell my story in this, right? And sometimes with the picture, I may put 2 different areas of text. You can do that. It's not too overwhelming to the eye. So you can do that. All right. So then the next one, boom. I smiled on the outside and was so happy my family was healthy, but I could never swallow the fact that this was all my life would be. Okay. I'm going, boom. And then it clicked. I stopped telling myself I couldn't do this and started stepping into who I was supposed to be, I was always meant to be unapologetically. And then 3 years later, we were CC, like credit card, debt free, and just finished building our dream home. Okay. And then I'm going to go on. We smiled more, laughed more. Life seemed to be richer. I finally understood the storm of struggle was the lesson I needed. I found out how to work the business into my life with my babies by my side, bringing in more income than I did as an NP, working less. Okay, so I'm telling my story. Connected with amazing people that pushed me to be better. Now, here's the tip too. If you have the ability to have pictures like this where you can show all the F-bombs, family, faith, fun, freedom, right? Then you want to do that. Okay, I encourage you to do that because that shows people that there's more depth to you than just the selfies. Okay. But in the premise of just creating it for the first time, just use pictures of yourself if that's what you have, okay? All right, next. I truly was creating my dream life by design, and it felt so good to show others how to do the same and more. Life isn't all about money, but money gives you options, freedom, time, less worry, and that's exactly what I was chasing, okay? I am no one special, just a mom on a mission, but I refused to settle for anything less than God intended. I was tired of dimming my light, and instead I started to make it brighter. And then I go on to like, and so can you can make, so now what I'm doing is I'm wrapping it up, right? I'm doing a call to action. I'm letting them know I am not the only one that can do this. So can you. Stop counting yourself out. This is so simple and I can teach you everything, right? I need them to know you don't just join my team and I drop you or I leave you. I need you to know that I will be invested in you, right? And we are not the same family that started this business 5 years ago. We are so much more. Let's do this together. Let's talk. And then I go into this. Spots are filling fast. Must be 18. Coachable, motivated. 6 spots left for $39. Okay. And then I put a poll. I like ending with a poll. It's easier for me. Swipe up and comment usually never works for me. Polls do. So I like ending with a poll. Okay. So that's my story that I posted today. So tomorrow when I'm doing my KPI and I'm following up, I will comment or not comment, but I'll message people that viewed this story or voted in this poll. All right. Now, what questions do you guys have? I know this was a lot. And while you guys are thinking of questions, if you have them, I'm going to send all my verbiage for my slides. So let me do that. Stop. Does this make sense to you guys? I hope it does. All right. So let me give you slide 1, 2. And again, use mine as a basis, guys. Obviously, change it up. But it gives you an idea of what I was trying to say and how I kind of transitioned from one to the next. And again, shorten it, like make it longer. But as you're doing it, feel free to edit it too. It doesn't always have to be the same length each time, okay? This is just a base. Get your story written out there and then kind of streamline it. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So I just sent you guys all of that. Feel free, screenshot that or copy and paste. Let me know when you guys are done doing that. Now, last but not least, guys, okay, before I open it up for some questions, but here's the thing. Like I said, tomorrow, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at people who viewed the story, voted in the poll, commented on my post, because I should be posting or in my hands-free about my story every day. So if you're in your hands-free about your story, you don't necessarily have to post about the story. If you're posting about the story, you can do something else in hands-free, okay? But nonetheless, it should be in one place or the other, okay? And it's really a non-negotiable if you're intentionally trying to advance your business, okay? So what I'm going to tell you though, or I'm going to send you, is a message that I send to people then when I'm following up with them. When I'm saying, hey, thanks for viewing my story. I don't even know what this one says, but let's just see. Follow-up message. Oh, okay. So it's a follow-up. So there's two here, guys. So there's two messages in this. Okay. So be sure you're like not sending all of this. So the first one is follow-up DT message after post. So this is me posting and I'm following up people that liked my post or commented on the post. Okay. On a post, not hands-free. And it basically just says, good morning. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the social support. I always, always, always thank people for social support because I don't want them to stop looking at my content. I want them to know that I value it. And I think that is a line that all of us should be using because it is true, right? Obviously, if I'm interacting with them, they're supporting me in some way, shape, or form. Okay. I saw you liked my post the other day. If they commented, I saw you commented on my post the other day. If they viewed they viewed the stories later. I saw you liked like a post the other day. Just wanted to ask, because I'm always wanting to show others an additional stream of income. Are you at all interested in making money from your cell phone? If they say no, guess what? Okay, right? Like, cool. Thank you. I already said thank you for the social support, right? Sometimes I'll respond back like, okay, no problem, girl. Like, thank you again so much for the social support. I don't literally dwell. I don't try to convince them because I'm not in the business of convincing people. I don't need to, right? Nor do you. We live in the world of abundance and your tribe will be attracted with the vibe that you put out. All right. Now, the next part is follow up in like a general like vote, like if they voted in my poll. And I would say, hey there, I saw you voted in my poll. Did you want some info on what I do? I keep it general. I don't get specific. I don't send them all about the comp plan right when they voted in a poll because half the time people will tell you, well, I didn't mean to vote. Like, right. So I just ask a very simple question and I say, what did I say? Did you want some info on what I do? Right? They say yes, they say no, okay, we're moving on. I don't even care, right? I do care, but you know what I'm saying. So does that all make sense? So save those messages, use those because I think again, another part of what used to hold me up doing KPI, and for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you will, doing our daily tasks, what held me up is trying to figure out what to send. I would sit there and be like, what message? How do I phrase this? Like, how do I send a message to this person or this person? And I wouldn't do it. So I would not even message those people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I took time to do my hands free about my story or post. And I'm not even following up with the people that are liking it or commenting or voting. Guys, those are potentials. Those are potentials. And even if they're not potentials, meaning that they signed today, because that's not what a potential is. A potential is someone that wants to be involved in what you do, whether it's products or whether it's the business. So take the time to get to know them. Take the time to thank them. Take the time to see if they're interested. And if they say no, I bet you any money, they're now going to start watching your stories. How often have you sent a message to someone and they're like, no, I'm not interested? You bet I see them straight up stalking my stories in the next coming days. Okay. They want to know what you do. She may have said no to me because her first initial instinct is, no, I don't know what that is. It's a scam. That doesn't work. What? But I piqued her curiosity. Why is she so darn happy? Like this girl, like seriously, it's 7 a.m. and she's sending a voice message. She's super happy. I get that all the time. People want to know. People want to know, like, what is she smoking? What is she doing? Like people want to know. And so you want to make sure that you're making a connection in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So does this help? Does this talk about posting in a different way? I hope that you guys take this and I hope that I start seeing your stories posted because there is nothing that you should be ashamed about in your past. Because here's the thing, no matter what, you still made a decision for you because you're here. And if you didn't think that that was a big thing, it is a huge thing. And I think that we undervalue that so incredibly much. And we need to do a better job as individuals telling our struggles, not because we want people to feel sorry for us, but because we can empower other people. I don't know how many times I have been told that, oh my gosh, because you did this, it made me do this. Because you said this, I did this. You want to know something crazy, you guys? Here's the thing. When you start telling your story and people relate to you, and then you start leveling up your game, you start getting on Zooms, you start hosting trainings, you will then be that person that's in an airport. I kid you not, I was flying to Florida and actually I was flying home and there was like this group of like girls and they were like staring at me and I was like, what do you mean, girl? What's up? And then they came walking over to me and they're like, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, me? Like, are you sure? Like me? But here's the thing. I say that not to boast, but what I'm saying is there is so much of an undervalue that we hold upon ourselves. We don't even realize who is watching you. Like you don't even realize who is looking up to you, who is looking at your post and being like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just post like her. I wish I could just say it that way, right? But here's the thing. You may feel that way about another upline, right? Or an ambassador diamond or whoever you look up to. But there's someone somewhere who thinks that about you. You may not know it yet, right? You may not know it yet. How many of you, okay, let's be real. Let me just call of hands. How many of you stalked me before you joined me?
I got it too.
Who's that? Yeah, who stalked me? Go ahead, be real. Did anyone stalk me before they joined me? Like, if this girl wouldn't let me alone, like, she needs to stop messaging me. Like, but I need to know what she's doing. What is she doing? I don't know. What is she doing? Right?
I stalk you now.
What'd you say?
I stalk you now.
I stalk you now.
I know, but seriously though, and we're humans. Like we want to know what people are doing, but we don't want them to know that we're doing it. So we're like, oh, we're that ghost follower. Like seriously though, and so it's just so funny, you guys. But in all honesty, I think that it goes back to just showing up as your authentic self every single day. You can never have my story because it's mine, but you can have yours, and I can show you how to put your story out there in a way that's going to attract people. But here's the thing: when you put your story out there, when you get a little vulnerable. You can't, this is another topic, but fear will start to creep in and you'll start to want to shrink back and you'll be like, oh my gosh, what if someone sees this? What if my sister's aunt's godmother sees that and she goes back and tells mama, and then mama's like freaking out because I'm doing this crazy scam business, right? Like you start thinking of all these crazy things, right? But here's the thing, faith is activated when fear starts, right? So you got to remember, we say the term faith and fear can't coexist. Technically it can, because I do firmly believe that when fear starts to creep up on me, faith has to be activated, and faith is not activated, fear will take over. And so the more you condition yourself to post your story, right, the less fear will rise up in you. And the less fear that rises up in you gives you more confidence to even go further than just the story. And then maybe you're happy butts getting on lives telling your story, right? How many of you do that? Let's be real, okay? Right, yeah. So, but that's what happens next. And then how many of you are challenged to get on a Zoom and host a Zoom? How many of you, Sandra, how many of you were crapping your pants whenever Pam Souter asked you to get on a freaking Zoom, right? But that's the next level. You want to level up. You want all of this. You want success. This is what comes with it. Right? This is what comes with it. You've got to figure out and you've got to realize that you were intended for so much more than what you think you were intended for. And when you start to allow yourself to lean into the fear versus be scared and shrink from the fear, then it's magical, the things and the perspectives you'll have. And then you'll be able to coach your team through it because you'll be able to quickly pick up. I can quickly pick up when my team is having a bad day, or someone is like, okay, I haven't heard from you, girl. Like, yeah, let me see what's up with you, right? I can tell, right? And I can tell, A, because I've been there, but B, because I know them, right? And so there's this connection. You guys have got to figure out how to connect with your audience, okay? So I want to know what book what book I'm reading? Oh my gosh, I have so many. That's like, I'm like the worst person. Like, so Get Rich Lucky Bitch is one of them that I'm reading and I'm obsessed. That's
It's a blue one that you're always posting.
What was that?
It's a blue one that you're always
Oh,
posting.
my one. Yeah, here. Oh my gosh, where's my stuff? Hold on. This. Unshakable. So this is 365 days of devotions, and this is something super magical for me. And you just open it up and it has the dates. And so come January 1st, I'll start over. Like I'll just start over again. And oh my gosh, it's very small and short, but it's powerful. And here's the thing that I would recommend. I use these devotions to start a post sometimes. So sometimes I'll have a scripture at the top that's really just resonated with me, and then I'll go into my post. So I use my journaling and my devotions as prompts to start my posting too, but it's called Unshakable. And I think I got it on Amazon, but it's really good. Yeah. What other questions? See, look, you guys are stalking me, aren't you? Anything else? You guys are awesome. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see these stories. Feel free to tag your upline. Anytime my newbies or anyone, or even if you're not new, do a story and you're like so stinking proud, you're like, oh my gosh, you got to check it out, right? Tag us, tag me on Instagram or whatever. I would love to see it because I think that it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to do that, you know? I don't leave my house. I know, because you have it. Isn't it good? I love it too. I know. I so love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh my gosh, for a second, you guys, I almost had like a panic attack. I thought I didn't record that. Okay. Woo, Lord. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. Does anyone have any other questions? So your homework for tonight, is, stop.